Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. One of the most famous cases of vampirism in the 18th century took place with Arnold Pauli, who lived on lands not far from Belgrade. A document from 1732 has been preserved, signed by an Austrian imperial commission consisting of 2 military surgeons, as well as a lieutenant colonel and a junior lieutenant. In Pauli's time, this area belonged to the Habsburg Empire. Pauli was a young man who returned to his native village of Meduegna near Belgrade after completing military service in the Levant in the spring of 1727. He settled on the land, bought a 2-acre plot, and fell in love with a girl, Nina, the daughter of a wealthy neighbor. Although Pauli always treated the neighbors cordially, they began to suspect that something was wrong with him. Nina also felt that he was troubled and asked him why. Pauli confessed that he was haunted by the thought of premature death, and it all began during his military service in Greece. An immortal entity visited him, Pauli told the girl, and he found her grave and tried to exorcise the devil from the body. It was for this very reason that he refused military service and returned to the village at such a young age. For some time it seemed nothing bothered Pauli after that, but one day during the harvest he fell from a haystack, was injured, and soon died. A month later, rumors began that Pauli was wandering at night. People started complaining that he was stalking them, and many indeed soon died. So, it seemed he had failed to escape the curse of vampirism. 2.5 months later, the villagers decided to exhume the body. A group of fellow villagers was accompanied to the cemetery by 2 officers sent from Belgrade, where the authorities had become interested in the mysterious case. As we said, the officers were joined by 2 military surgeons, as well as the old gravedigger with assistants. When they removed the lid of the coffin, they saw that the body was turned on its side, the jaws were wide open, and the blue lips were moistened with fresh blood, which trickled from the corners of the mouth. This was stated in the official report. The fearless gravedigger grabbed the body and laid it out. It soon became clear that they were looking at a vampire. He looked almost alive. At the moment when the gravedigger touched the body, the outer skin peeled off, revealing new skin and new nails underneath. Fear gripped the people. They sprinkled garlic on the body and pierced it with a stake. The corpse let out a terrible scream, and carmine-colored blood gushed out. After this, they exhumed the bodies of 4 people Pauli had allegedly killed and pierced them with stakes to prevent them from returning to the world of the living. Then they burned all 5 and buried the ashes in consecrated ground. For some time, these measures worked. Vampire reports in the village stopped. But 5 years later, several people died again, and the rumors returned. The authorities appointed a commission for investigation, which decided to open the graves of the recently deceased and conduct a medical examination of the corpses. In the commission's documents dated 1732, one can find very curious facts. The bodies of women and children who had died a month before the exhumation were perfectly preserved, while the bodies of others who had died at the same time had almost completely decomposed. The commission members pierced all suspicious corpses with stakes, beheaded them, and burned them. After which cases of vampirism ceased. Many facts about vampires of that period were collected by Augustin Calmet, a French Benedictine monk and bibliographer who published in 1746 a book titled A Dissertation on the Appearance of Angels, Demons, and Ghosts, as well as the manifestations of vampires in Hungary, Bohemia, Moravia, and Silesia. An English edition appeared 13 years later. Calmet, who sought to resolve the issue of vampirism, approached the question of the reality of this phenomenon with full responsibility. Those who believe in them will accuse me of hasty and contrived conclusions, of expressing doubt, or mocking the very fact of the existence of vampires. Others will say I'm wasting time on nonsense that isn't worth a damn, he wrote. But no matter what they think, I will continue studying this topic, which seems to me very important from a religious perspective. Calmet attempted to explain the most mysterious aspects of vampirism, for example, how a body could leave a grave covered by a 1.5 meter thick layer of earth, or whether a spirit could really leave a corpse, what gives corpses such demonic power, and why they remain so fresh. Calmet told the story of a soldier stationed on a peasant estate on the Hungarian border who usually dined with the estate owners. One day, A man joined them whom the soldier had never seen before. He frightened everyone, especially the owner. The soldier didn't know what to do. The next day, the estate owner died. When the soldier asked what had happened, he was told the strange man was the owner's father, who had died more than 10 years ago, and at this time, he had brought news of the owner's imminent death. The father, clearly, was a vampire. When the soldier shared this story with his commander, Count Kapersky, the count ordered an investigation. Accompanied by a surgeon, a notary, and several officers, he visited the estate and heard the same story. The peasants exhumed the father's body. And it was in such a condition as if freshly buried. The blood looked like that of a living person. The count ordered the head cut off and the body burned. The commission also examined the remains of other alleged vampires, including a man buried over 30 years ago. All three were subjected to the same ritual. After gathering all the collected information, including the testimony of Count Kapersky, Calmette concluded, the circumstances in the report are so unique, weighty, and thoroughly documented that it is impossible not to believe them. However, he also showed a degree of skepticism, suggesting that premature burial of a person in a coma, trance, or paralysis might explain some of these strange results. He called the practice of killing and burning such bodies cruel and mistaken, and wondered how the authorities could permit it. If you enjoyed this, like the video and subscribe to the channel.